Don't eat this. It's microphone food.
Why have I not fixed the audio in this space yet?
I've got a solution for this. I don't know. Maybe this sounds better. Glad you came back today. We're not talking about dirt bikes. Today's video, we're talking about my van, because I've had her for exactly a year now. Making this my van-iversary. In case you're wondering, I did get her a ring. 4 of them. They're black and made of rubber. If you're like me and you use your van to get in and out of moto spots, then you probably run oversized tires or all-terrains. And that's what I was running before, but they were bald and they looked like crap. I don't even know what brand of tire they were. I do know what brand of tire they are now though, because I decided that when I had the opportunity to put on new tires, I would use good ones. BF Goodrich all-terrains. And here's what I learned during my research. So there's a few good things about the BF Goodrich all-terrain. Number 1, it's actually a really quiet tire. 2, it's a lot smoother than what was on there. And 3, I'm surprised by this. I'm getting better fuel economy right now. None of those are the reasons that I bought that tire in the first place. I chose the tire because of its availability. And I figured this way, if I get a flat anywhere, I'm able to get it replaced and I don't have to worry about tire availability or having a mismatched set. The one downside I will say about the BF Goodrich tires is that they are definitely one of the more expensive all-terrains out there. I think everything I priced out for 4 tires, I was looking at about $800 for almost every tire out there. And with the BF Goodrich, I was looking at about $1,000. So that hurt a little bit. However, I do think that the cost is going to be offset by the convenience. And now that I've driven on them for about a week, I will say I actually do really like the ride quality. The wheels had bad plasti dip on it to begin with, but when I took it to a tire shop and they remounted new tires on it, they ruined whatever was left of that plasti dip. So I ordered a kit from dyc.com in the brass monkey color because I'm not really a big fan of matte black. I think it just looks stolen. The brass monkey is a lot nicer color and it gave me an opportunity to trial run having bronze wheels on my car. I will definitely be ordering bronze wheels. In the meantime, I'm not mad, and for $65, I think this was a good upgrade as well as a great way to find out that yes, in fact, this is the way I want the van to look ultimately. I mentioned that most of the van was actually plasti dipped, or at least a lot of the van was plasti dipped. So along with the wheel dip kit, I also ordered a spray bottle of dip dissolver, which it turns out is actually just goof off. Turns out it's actually just Goo Gone, but it's super effective. And if you don't feel like ordering it online, just go to Home Depot and pick up a bucket of goof off. Once I got all of the plasti dip off, I pulled all of the trim pieces off with a trim removal tool and organized them in the garage. Once I had those off, I used the Duplicolor trim and bumper paint. This stuff's not too bad. I think I used about 3 cans, so about $30 worth. Keeping tabs? It's pretty easy to apply and it covered the entire van. I figured since I had the trim panels off, I wasn't gonna have a better opportunity than this to take care of the rocker panels, as well as some weather sealing concerns. So step 1, now that they're off, was to scuff up the rocker panels and clean it all off thoroughly with a little acetone in preparation for a bed liner kit. You could take this to a professional shop and have them actually spray bed liner on it, but most of those shops are gonna charge you upwards of $1,000 to do a van, because they have to mask the whole thing off. I didn't want to go super cheap and regret it later, so I decided what I would pick up is the Rust-Oleum 2-part epoxy bed liner kit. It's the only one out there that isn't a single stage. You basically just roll the bag up, mix the product, and then you got about 4 hours to apply it. There's one big thing that I wanted to take care of while I had the trim panels off. I found out that Mercedes didn't weatherproof these seals. There's a really good likelihood that the water is going to get in through these clips and soak the inside of your van. It doesn't get into the passenger compartment, but if you're going to run electrical or insulation inside the panels, it's going to end up getting that stuff wet. And it'll really quickly ruin insulation. I picked up a tube of black Sikaflex, which I used to reapply all of the clips on the van so that now they're weather sealed. With the clips sealed up and the trim restored to black, I clipped that back on. I also found a product that was supplied by Owl Vans. Essentially what it is a weather strip that goes in between the plastic and the body, and it's really easy to apply. So after the panels were back on, I applied that as well, just for another level of insurance on weatherproofing. I think the whole roll for a 144 van is maybe $50. And honestly, the insurance that my insulation will stay dry when I finally get it in there is definitely worth it. I'm not a fan of bringing things back to baseline if getting them better is an option. Now, full disclosure about this, the Mercedes van uses a canbus system, which lets you know if you have lights out anywhere on the vehicle just by measuring resistance. If you do what I did, the van will think that all of your lights are out. Currently, I think I have about 6 warnings on my dash. None of those bulbs are actually burned out, and I'm not worried about any of it. But if this is something that irritates you, then you should probably know going into it. There is a way to fix this, and it's pretty easy. You can pick up these resistors that you just bridge across the contacts of any of your lights that you've replaced with LEDs, and they mimic the resistance of a halogen bulb, which lets the van think that your bulbs are not burned out. But then you're not saving any power. So if you can get away without using these, I actually prefer to leave them off and just deal with the error message. Starting from front to back, I did the headlights first. I picked up some LED H7 bulbs, as well as the canbus adapters, because in the case of headlights, the bulbs won't come on without the adapters. I found out that on 2014 and newer vans as well, you've got to have a socket adapter. There are a couple companies that make this. You can find them on Amazon. The ones that I ordered are actually for a Volkswagen Golf, but they fit perfectly and they seem to do the job. I will say the one thing that I would change if I were to do this again, I used an LED bulb with a cooling fan on the back. I would use a bulb with the heatsink pigtails. It's easier to fit into the socket and you spend a lot less time fighting with it than I did. At some point, I'm gonna revisit this because there should also be a bulb and canbus combo that turns off your warning lights for the headlights. My headlights turn on, so I'm not worried about the error because they're reliable and they're bright. For the back of the van, I ordered a kit from HIDs R Us that is the full Sprinter taillight kit. I have warnings for every light out there except for the turn signal because those require the load resistors in order to not rapid flash. So those had to be installed. This, by the way, is not a set of resistors that came with the kit. This is a set of resistors that I just happen to have sitting around. The biggest reason that I decided to make the upgrade of LED lights is because they just don't burn out as quickly. They last significantly longer, and with daytime running lights being a thing, it helps. Most of my hours are spent driving during the day, and my headlights are on anyway, so I'd like to not have to replace them as often as every 6 to 9 months, which is not uncommon for a daily driven van. They're a little bit brighter, and say what you want about beam pattern and color temperature. Let me know in the comments if you hate LED lights. I'm a fan, I think it looks good, and I think it's easier to see. And ultimately, that's what matters to me, is that I can get home safely, or sometimes not home, but just wherever I'm going next. I mean, this is a vaniversary. I can't just get away with doing the things that she needs and calling that a gift, right? So I also decided that while I was in here, I'd wrap the hood. I picked up a 4-foot by 6-foot sheet of satin black vivid vinyl. I could probably make the claim that this is gonna protect against stone chips and make the hood look nicer overall. I could argue that driving with a black hood is just a superior driving experience. I just like the way black hood looks. And I know the Amazon guy's gonna appreciate it because the amount of times he accidentally gets into my van when he drops packages off is, okay, well, it's actually 0, but this makes it slightly less likely to happen, and it can't hurt, right? You're protecting your investment in multiple ways. It's not getting chipped and it's not getting stolen. So since getting the van a year ago, all I'd really done was take a couple seats out of it, throw a wheel chock in, and load my stuff up so that I could go ride. I hadn't really done anything to improve its day-to-day functionality, and I'm happy to say that this at least makes it look a little bit more me. The weather stripping makes me feel a lot more comfortable about doing a build out on it, which is gonna be one of the next things that happens to it. And I'm really looking forward to it. If you have a van, I highly recommend at least doing the weatherproofing on the trim panels, but honestly, it looks better if you do all this stuff anyway, so get in it, have fun, right? That's what it's all about. We can't take any of this stuff with us. Might as well enjoy it while we're here. I'm enjoying the heck out of this van and I'm enjoying your company every week. Thanks for joining me today. Let's pull this van out and just stare at it for a while. See how good she looks now. And hey, while you're staring at that van, if you enjoyed this video or you thought it was helpful or fun at all, do me a favor, go down below, click the like button. If you like me as much as I like you, go ahead and click the subscribe button. I absolutely love making videos like this for you guys, and I can't wait to see your smiling faces in the next video.